Hey guys, today's video, I'll be showing you an H-13 engine, which I'm going to be doing a little bit more of in the future just because I'm working on an H-13 collection, which will be part of my new layout. The running portion will be on kind of a temporary layout. I took my old 4x8 layout and ripped up the HO section, or the HO track, and then just put some Pico track down for H-13 that I had. So without further ado, let's get to this engine. So as you can see, it's a D&RGW Grand k-36 282 type locomotive. It has a CAN motor, but no lights or sound holes or sound cam. These old brass engines were pretty basic, but less things to go wrong. So we'll start with what's kind of around the locomotive. Have a snowplow here. I don't remember which one of these had snowplows. I think it was 486 has a snowplow. Not exactly sure, because, you know, they would change over time. Some of them, they would take it off one and put it on another if one of them was in the shop or something. But you can kind of see. This is like a kit you have to solder together, which is, you know, time and effort that is not necessary, so I don't know. But we'll see. We have the dog house. You gotta solder that on too. I don't know why there's a hole there. Maybe she wanted to run a light or something, but they didn't really do that in the 70s, so I have no idea. And then we'll go into the tender. So here's the tender. Nicely etched brass details. You know, the wood siding. Kind of the cold detail, the detail on the front. You can see the soldering. One reason why on a lot of engines you can't see soldering is because they coat it in a very thin lacquer, and that kind of covers up all the imperfection of the, if the brass is discolored from soldering. But it's not like a bad thing if an engine doesn't have it. It's just kind of something, you know, that is interesting. But I don't know if you can see it right there on the headlight. It's kind of almost like a pilot hole-ish, like a pilot dimple. That might make it easier to drill it out when I put a decoder in there and paint it. But I don't know. So we'll go on to the locomotive now. And I wonder if one reason they didn't do the lacquer coating is because I wanted to save time for some of the details on the engine. And I'll show those to you in a second. Just kind of get this all tucked away in here. And I can put this on here. So here's a locomotive. Oh, well, key. I guess we'll just go to that right now because that fell off. That's the details that I was talking about. I mean, like, that's just insane. It's a lot of, you know, taking a little brush and just, like, painting all that. You know, the gauge is white and a little needle. But you can see, it's a very nice locomotive. Nicely detailed. One thing that is interesting is, though, the K-28, which is the rendition before this version, like the K-28 was a 282 Mikado for the D&RGW Grand that was built a few years earlier. Those were built by a different company, and that's why, you know, those have the air pumps on the front, and they're a little bit more detailed. They're a bit more visually interesting because of all the piping. But this is a little bit more of a simple engine. and what details there are, they did a great job of representing them on this locomotive. Look on the bottom. You can see it's got a cover plate on the engine. Everything feels very robust about this engine. Something I don't like about Sam Hunk's engines is, I don't feel comfortable picking them up anywhere. Like, I feel comfortable picking this up from right here. You know, picking it up from that little piece right there. That's fine. No bending or anything. And that's what I like about these Japanese engines is they're so well built that you don't have to be careful while handling them. So, you know, it gives that extra confidence. And, you know, when you're painting it, you don't have to worry about stuff bending, especially on like the little pipes right there, the stuff bending and the paint cracking off. But that's really all I have to talk about. So I'll get this on the track. The layout's kind of on the floor, so may not be great for shots, but I'll try my best. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns... Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. One thing is, with these locomotives, you know, a lot of these earlier brass engines is the marker lights. So, you know, people putting lights in the marker lights, this engine would be a pain in the butt to do. Did you see that? What you'd have to do is you have to cut it here, and then cut it here, make a little tiny hole, and then run wires into that, which is just a lot of work that I'm not gonna do. That's a little thing, you know, because some engines, you know, the castings are open or big enough to drill, but the Denver and Rio Grande had their castings, or their design of marker lights where you weren't able, it's very challenging to put marker lights in. I don't know if I've seen anyone do it with, you know, this version, but yeah, on to the running.